What makes motor pathways terms so complex in anatomy? Imagine trying to follow a busy highway system that connects different cities, but each road has its own rules, crossings, and destinations. That's similar to how motor pathways work in the nervous system. These pathways are responsible for controlling our movements, but describing them involves a lot of detailed terms. The reason is that they are made up of many parts that all work together, and each part has its own specific role. First, motor pathways start in different areas of the brain, especially in the motor cortex. This part of the brain plans and initiates movement. The motor cortex itself is divided into regions, like the primary motor cortex and secondary motor areas. Each region controls different types of movements, so the pathways coming from these areas are named based on where they start. That makes the terminology more complicated because it has to specify the exact origin. Next, these pathways travel down through the brainstem and spinal cord. They do not follow just one simple route. Instead, they split into different tracts, like the corticospinal tract. This tract is made of many fibers that originate from various parts of the brain and target different muscles in the body. Some fibers cross over to the opposite side of the body at a point called the pyramidal decussation, while others stay on the same side. This crossing creates terms like lateral corticospinal tract and ventral corticospinal tract, adding more layers of description. In addition, motor pathways involve different types of neurons. Upper motor neurons start in the brain and send signals down the spinal cord. Lower motor neurons are located in the spinal cord and directly connect to muscles. The interaction between these neurons, their synapses, and the muscles they activate adds more specific terms related to neuron types and how signals are transmitted. The pathways also connect with other parts of the brain, like the cerebellum and basal ganglia, which help coordinate movement, balance, and posture. Describing these connections involves even more terms, making the overall picture more complex. Furthermore, controlling movement is a dynamic process. It involves planning, executing, and adjusting movements based on feedback. Terms related to neural oscillations, connectivity, and sensory-motor integration describe these processes. For example, brain waves called beta oscillations change during movement, reflecting complex neural activity patterns. All these factors make the terminology for motor pathways so detailed and layered. Each term helps specify exactly which pathway, neuron, or process is involved. This precision is especially important in clinical settings, where damage to specific parts of the motor system can cause different movement problems. So, the complexity of motor pathway terms comes from the many origins, crossing patterns, neuron types, connections with other brain regions, and the active processes involved in movement. This detailed language helps us understand how the nervous system controls every movement we make, from tiny finger motions to full body actions.